What's up, Hustle fam? Welcome back to the Holeshot Hustle. I'm your host, Logan Maurer.
And I'm your co-host, Joe Maurer.
Today's episode is a big one because we're talking about something that's affecting all riders across the country. Motocross tracks are disappearing. From insurance pressure and lawsuits to development and local politics, places for riders to practice, train, and build skills are getting harder and harder to find.
And right here in southern Utah, we've seen it firsthand. Cedar City alone has lost multiple tracks over the years, forcing riders and families to travel hours just to ride. But today we're talking to a family that decided to fight back instead of giving up.
Joining us are Bryce and Daryl Owen, the owners of Paroworx Offroad Park, a rider-built facility in Iron County that was created to give families and kids a safe place to ride, train, and stay involved in the sport.
Their story isn't just about building a motocross track. It's about roadblocks, community battles, legal challenges, and what happens when passion for riding runs headfirst into the system.
We get into the real struggles behind keeping motocross alive, why access to riding areas keeps shrinking, and how the off-road community can come together to protect the future of the sport.
If you care about motocross, public lands, or just keeping the next generation on two wheels, this is an episode you don't want to miss.
So sit back, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into episode 14, The War on Motocross Tracks.
Let's go. All right. Well, welcome to the Holeshot Hustle. We're here with the owners of Paroworx Offroad Park, Daryl and Bryce Owen. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Great to see you guys. Thank you for making the time to come in and chat with us tonight. We're excited to hear about everything that's going on out there and everything that you're planning to do from here.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks for having us.
So tell us a little bit about your facility. Can you give us just kind of a synopsis of
Sure.
what you're shooting for here?
So, well, I'll back up and start from the beginning. It kind of started out as a hobby. My kids came to me and said, hey, now that we're moving to Utah, can we have a motocross track? And it's like, yeah, okay, we'll buy some property. And I've always had property in the past. So it's like, yeah, we'll buy some property and build a motocross track. And it kind of grew from there. I wouldn't say a labor of love. There was times that we were at each other's throats, but that's kind of how it started. So we have 160 acres out in the Parowan Valley. There's pretty much nothing around except dirt and weeds, and it's a great place for motocross tracks for that reason. Closest house is probably about 5 miles away. Matter of fact, when we first moved there, the dairy that is about 5 miles away was open at that time. And for the first couple of years, we were fighting a major fly infestation problem. Every year, the flies would blow a certain direction and end up and you'd have thousands of them. So,
I mean, like, legitimately, you'd open the truck door and there'd be 300 flies in the truck just within like open, close. I mean, I'm not even joking. It was terrible.
So we're glad that the dairy shut down.
Yeah.
And the fly problem has gone away.
I can believe that because have you been to Delta?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember one year there, dude, like the whole, that's basically at a dairy farm.
Right.
And the whole back of our trailer was solid black with flies. I mean, yeah. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. With the dairy.
It's interesting because one weekend a year, we always get termites too.
Oh, really?
The termites swarm up out of the ground and it's always after a rain, usually late September, October, somewhere around there. And it's just as bad like the flies, but they only last for a couple of days. So, but where the flies were all summer long. So we're glad the flies are gone. So that's why it's such a good place for a motocross track is there's not much else you can do out there. It's so far away and remote that we're not hurting anybody.
But at the same time, it's also, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to get into town at a Parowan, which is really cool, right off the freeway. So it's like the perfect location, Yeah.
It's set right up against the foothills there. I mean, just about as far out as you can go before you hit the foothills there.
That's right. We're surrounded on three sides by BLM. So that area is open riding until they close it, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But right now, that's considered open riding area. It's grazing area. It's multiple use area. So you can ride on the lake bed. There's a lot of riding in that area. You just happen to have a motocross track in the middle of it.
That's awesome. And you you have a lot of big plans for this thing. You've done a lot so far, putting in the well. You've got your water truck now, but you really want to turn it into really kind of an oasis for families to come and ride, right?
That's right. That's the plan. And like I've said before, a family that rides together stays together. And that's how we grew up. That's how our family stayed together, is by riding every weekend. I think every other weekend was kind of our normal, right?
Yeah, I mean, for a while there, it was even like every weekend. I remember going out to like Stoddard Wells, going out to like Atalanta, El Mirage, Cal City, all that.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the whole idea, was give the community a place where they could come out and just be a family, be kids, without all the hassles. Because we grew up in California and we saw all these riding areas shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Yeah. For example, El Mirage, there used to be no fence around it at all. You could ride for miles all the way to Edwards Air Force Base and all the way to, on the north side, up to Barstow and so on. And now it's all fenced off. They charge you for coming in. And the first thing that's happening is when you come in is, do you have your green sticker? Yeah, there's a green sticker. And they check it out. Do you have a spark arrestor? Yeah, there's your spark arrestor. And they shove a wire up your tailpipe. And, we just got tired of the hassle.
They just harass you too. I mean, you'll just be hanging out, just sitting there, and they'll come up all driving really fast. And they're yelling at you saying, do you have this? Do you have that? And it's just like, dude, like I'm sitting here taking a break. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I don't know why why they got to act like that, but
I don't know what it is with California. It's like they don't want people living there.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, that was our dream, was put together a place where you could just be family, right, have a good time, ride dirt bikes, ride quads, ride side by sides, whatever you want to do, and make sure that the local community is good with it, because that's really what it's about, is the local community, but also make sure that the law enforcement people that unfortunately sometimes are not the most ethical, and I'm not saying that about all of them, many of them are very good people. Matter of fact, my wife is an ex-cop. So, but there's some that want to create problems for you, and it's not right. And
they've got a little bit of a power trip. Some of them, yeah.
And that's what we experienced in California. So why not build a place that's private that you can relax a little bit? If your dog's off the leash, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Right. So that was the idea.
Something that's really amazed me about Iron County, and I was telling Bryce when we came out to the track the other day, we did the Carbon Emery MX series. I don't know if you heard about that one that opened up. It was a series that's basically the eastern side of Utah. So we did like Bull Hollow, which is over in Monticello, or whatever you have. Monticello. And then Price, Vernal. So it was a lot of travel for us, but they really kind of embraced us and asked if we would help support them. And I'm like, heck yeah, we need another series in Utah. We've really only got one main one now.
Yeah.
And so we went out and we did that series and we had a lot of fun. But one thing I noticed is in Price and in Vernal, they have these really awesome county run motocross tracks.
Oh, wow.
They are fully funded by the county. The equipment's from the county, the water's from the county, and the one in Price is, I think both of them have.
They're open weekly.
Yeah, they're open all week. They water and prep two times a week. I know Price for sure, but I'm not sure. I can't remember Vernal, but Price for sure has like sprinklers that come on like every so often during the day and water the track.
Vernal does
too. So you don't have to drive the truck around the track necessarily. Makes it a little sloppy in a couple of sections, but it's a nice idea.
Right.
And they're both county running. And I thought, I'm looking at these two places and I'm like asking Surrey, how many, what's the population? These places are like 6,000 people. And I'm like, how do these little dinky towns with 6,000 people have these county run motocross facilities? The one in Vernal has a big spot for RVs with a bunch of powered spots too. And they have like a racetrack for cars. Like it's a whole like little, thing. And I'm like, what's going on there?
Drag races and everything.
And it really kind of blows my mind that in Washington and Iron County, there's almost zero support from the county
That's right.
Zero.
Matter of fact, it's backwards. It's
Right.
They will block you as much as they possibly can.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Don't ride on our land. Don't ride on our trails, but we damn sure aren't going to give you a place to ride.
Right.
You know, and it doesn't work that way for skateboards. If you don't want skateboarders grinding on your rails and stuff in your malls and stuff like that, make a skate park. And then the kids go there. They have all kinds of features, and that's where they gather. Why not a motocross facility? And if the county's not going to do it, why not at least support yours?
Right.
Why not give you the tools that you need?
And then on top of that, yeah, they just they are trying to stop us from doing that, and it doesn't make any sense, you know.
Yeah. A good example is our road coming in. You know, our road issues, right?
Right.
It's a county road. There's no question it's a county road. State determines it's a road as well. So a number of years ago, I went to the county planner and said, you know, what can we do to get this road open? Because it was fenced off, it was gated at both ends, and the landowner would not open it up. And the county commissioner says, "Yep, that's a county road. That's a county road. That he's breaking the law. He's breaking the law." Then all of a sudden, a week later, it flipped. That attitude. It's like, well, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing. You just told us last week that this is a county road. It's on your maps. It's you know, yeah. But I looked into it. There's nothing we can do.
Interesting.
And it came back to this good old boy network.
There is one here for sure.
Yeah. So he was a rancher at the time. I don't know if he still is or not, but he was a rancher at the time. He talked to his rancher buddies. His rancher buddies said, "No, we don't want motorcycles anywhere even close to that area." And they were basically not going to give me a road, even though it was legal. Even though it was on their maps, even though the state recognized it as a road,
Right.
they weren't going to give me a road. So it is what it is.
Yeah, man. I mean, it blows me away. I mean, your track is so far out.
Right.
It is nowhere near homes or development. You know, I could almost see if like it was near homes and development. Motocross tracks can be loud, right?
Yeah.
But it is nowhere near any of that.
Yep.
The pastures or fields that are out there. I mean, there's rarely, you don't even see cattle in them hardly ever. And what's the harm? You know,
that's right.
I mean,
And there's trails all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, there's off-road trails that are deemed off-road trails all over the place.
Yeah.
You can't give me a road to my property.
yeah,
You know, this is crazy. And we can't have a motocross track right there. So, and then when I went to I was trying to do everything right. I was trying to go through the conditional use permit process and make sure that everybody knew about this, and we got the right paperwork to move forward. So if we wanted to make this a public track, we could. That whole event showed me the good old boy network. All the ranchers showed up. No. And they just plain lied at that.
Like
at that
made
meeting.
outrageous lies,
Yeah.
saying that we were going to the hills right behind on BLM land,
Yeah.
saying that I was digging a track with a backhoe over there. It was like, dude, I've never even had the backhoe back there, you know?
right.
So,
Like,
so anyway, it was clear. As a matter of fact, another commissioner at that point wanted to regulate where I was going to put my gates in. I said, no, you're not going to do that. I'm using this road as for emergency vehicles too, and you're not going to tell me where I can and cannot put gates in around my property. So, and she was a rancher as well. So it's this good old boy network. My recommendation is, if you're in the off-road community, is to vote these people out. Get involved. We can help you with that. We can tell you who the people are that are supportive of our community, and who are going to make it stagnant or continue to make it stagnant. The other one is I'm a big believer in supporting the businesses that support us.
Yeah.
A prime example of that is Bar 10 Ranch down in St. George, Bar 10 Beef. These guys have decades of history of supporting the off-road community. So take that into account. Doesn't matter what the other ranchers say in the area. They're not pro off-road. I can't get into the details, but support the businesses that are pro off-road. Sign up to Blue Ribbon Coalition. Utah Public Lands, Upland, another great organization. These are all organizations that are supporting our sport. And I'm not just saying our track. Our track is, just a small portion of it. But what's important is that we keep these public lands open for the public, and we don't let these people push us around. And you can do that with your wallet. You can vote with your wallet.
I was talking recently to somebody, I won't name names or where I was at, but he was somebody that is at least has some level of contact with the county commissioners. And he was telling me, I was talking to him a little bit about this problem. And what he described, I was like, gosh, it sounds like a combination of corrupt
It is.
and good old boy and just general disinterest in it as well. You know what I mean? Which is a bad combination. And I'll never forget, when I first, got to know you guys, I came out to, it was at least one. I might have come to two, but I remember it was at least one. What was it? What would you call it? A town hall or whatever out there in Paroworx?
Yeah, I think it was a town hall.
Town hall.
Yeah.
And you were going to speak about your track, and I remember that, and I really wanted to be there for that because I wanted to support you and I wanted to hear what was going on because I knew the troubles you were having. But then they also on the agenda that day was a little Chiron or electric bike track.
Yeah.
That the locals were vehemently
Yeah.
fighting against as well. And I thought, man, these guys are rowing a boat upstream with this, whole thing. I mean, yeah, you guys were getting absolutely roadblocked in that track too, which is sad.
That's right.
Oh, it's too dusty and it's too noisy and there's trash and it's like,
Yeah.
Well, what
do you want them to do?
well, that's what I'm saying. Because what I don't get is like the older people in Paroworx, they'll always complain about the kids riding around town, but then there's nowhere for the kids to ride around town. I guess there was even a spot by the airport. There was like a little pit that they used to go ride at, and that's all shut down now too. So it's like, where else are they supposed to go ride, and not bother people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are going to ride dirt bikes.
Regardless.
No matter what you do. So if you don't want them riding where you don't want, maybe designate an area or help somebody that's trying.
Yeah. And we're funding everything. It's not like we're asking for a handout from anyone. We've never asked for a handout once.
Never charged a dime.
Never charged a dime for a prep track. I mean, it's like, and sure, our prep job last year, I feel like could have been better, but this year, I think we're going to be on board with it where it's going to be really legit too.
Right. You guys have done a lot of improvements. So you guys put in a well last year, right? Or was it the year before?
2 years ago, yes.
2 years
ago. But finally got the water truck up and running 100%. And, it's running good now. Equipment problems are always a nightmare.
And that just is always going to happen.
Yeah,
too,
breakdowns. So,
and again, it would seem to me like, if the county doesn't want to spend millions of dollars by themselves out of their own coffers to do that, they could certainly untie your hands. They could certainly help you with water, help you with equipment. I don't know why they don't partner with you.
I don't get it.
I mean, that would make sense to me,
Well, and like we came here with like the purest intentions of just like serving the community and like making a nice, safe place. And it just seems like we've been kind of demonized since day one just because of where we're from or, whatever it is. It's it's unfortunate. It doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah. It is what it is. We're going to continue to do what we do. I believe that the off-road community will support us. I believe that we're going to win our lawsuits. I believe that eventually something's going to happen with that road and we'll have decent access. Of course, the landowner probably doesn't agree with me, but that's okay.
How wide is that road supposed to be? Can you say that?
Yeah. So what's on his deed is a 66-foot wide easement. The county doesn't recognize that, but so they've cut it back to 10 feet. They said they wrote what's called an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding of the Road. It took them over a year to write that after they said they had it already, but nonetheless. And then they said, well, we're only going to make it 10 feet. So that's the reason for the little chute that you go in right as you turn off Cane Springs Road.
And for those watching that don't know, Logan and I went out recently and shot some video with Bryce that if it's all right with you, we'll include some of that video. The road getting in is extremely narrow. I guess it's 10 feet, but I drive an F-250, and I usually fold my mirrors in to drive down it because I've hit them a couple of times. It feels extremely tight. I imagine you could probably get like a camper down the road, but you'd have to really be minding your P's and Q's and watching your mirrors going down that because it is extremely narrow. And it used to be narrow just going through the gate, but then they have put up like this really long corral.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it is, but it's got to be
Probably like
100 feet, 100,
maybe even 200.
200 feet. Yeah. And it just funnels you. You know, you have this corral on one side and barbed wire on the other, and an extremely narrow chute. And from the dirt road, it's Jackrabbit Road, right? Is what it's called.
Jackrabbit Ridge Road. Yes.
So from the road that you turn off, the main dirt road, onto this Jackrabbit Road, which is supposed to be public access,
right.
I would say you guys are what, like maybe half a mile from the main road?
1 mile.
Yeah.
Is it 1 mile?
Exactly 1 mile.
It's a pretty good jaunt once you turn off the road and you are crossing that property on Jackrabbit Road, but you have to go through that chute and you have to go through another extremely narrow gate right before you enter your property.
And then I think you've seen the video of the landowner saying, I'm going to do the same thing all the way down.
Right.
Make it a 10-foot wide access with fence on either side all the way down. How the county can say that's safe is beyond me, but maybe it takes a lawsuit against the county. I don't know.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't officially really technically open, or, if you wanted to charge for prep, I think it would be a good idea to do that. Most tracks do, $30 a day or something like that, just to pay for your expenses.
Yeah, no.
But you guys can't officially open or hold an event there, right? Until you get easement wide enough to go both directions so you can get emergency vehicles in and out. Is that correct?
It is a private track. If I want to have a private race on my private property, that's fine. I just can't charge money for it.
Gotcha.
At that point, it becomes a business.
I see.
So, for example, I've had people come to me and say, "Hey, I want to have a training seminar at your property." Fine, have a good time, and you're going to charge people for it, right? Yep. He's going to charge people for it. I can't receive any money because then I would be a business, right?
Gotcha.
We haven't made a dime, and that's what's crazy. And we've been accused of otherwise, but it's just not true. And everyone that comes out there knows that.
Yeah, I will say we've been out there dozens of times. Yeah. Not once have we ever been charged, or even hinted at charging.
Yeah,
which we really appreciate. And it's a little bit too generous, but I guess I understand why.
They just make you sign a waiver.
Just sign the waiver.
That's it.
Make sure that you pick up your trash, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and have a good time. Be safe.
Basic common sense rules, and that's about it. Yeah.
And you guys have fought other problems other than just the rancher and the adjacent properties. I remember when we first started seeing your facility pop up on social media, you were probably posting about it, and you were just getting started, and you were having four-wheelers come out and destroy all the work that you did.
Well, that, and then we had somebody too like locally come, and on the kids track they stacked a bunch of rocks on the landing of a jump on the kids track just to literally and try to intentionally hurt children. Like I just don't get why motorcycles are making people this angry.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's got the makings of a really cool facility. I mean, you guys have like a big main track, which you've been completely reworking over this last year, right?
A lot better now. Yeah.
It's quite a bit different than what we went to last year.
Yeah. And we took some video when we're out there. I don't know that any of that's going to do it justice, but we are looking forward to seeing that finished and how the layout's going to be. And it's got a lot more feature than it did last year. And you guys also have a little peewee track, and then you have a vet track. The vet track's really fun too, right?
Yep.
I like to ride it.
Yeah. We have more things planned too. So the vet track has to get cleaned up, and we're going to add some more to the vet track. And then we also want to make it so you can link the two tracks together if need be. There's a little desert section that you...
Yeah, there's like an off-road section I cut. We got to rent a skid steer so I can go through and clean it all up. But then eventually, hopefully maybe like 2 years, I want to do like a whole nother main track too.
Really?
Like kind of like a different style, kind of more like 180 bull corners, like almost not arena cross, but like think like Milestone or Paris, kind of like that. Yeah. I think that would be fun too.
Kind of a tighter track?
Yeah, kind of a tighter track, like just like I said, a lot of bowl corners. I think it'd be a
Like
lot of fun.
Supercross and motocross mixed, but not like so.
Not so super crossy though. Like more technical, I think, than like the current main track is. But I wouldn't want to go like straight up supercross or but just more technical, more jumps.
And then there's also a plan at some point in time for a side-by-side track.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people, are you going to do a side-by-side track? And it's like, yeah, but it's going to take some time. So that's kind of more down the road, but it's going to happen.
Well, and the side-by-side track will also include quads too. We'll just throw all the four-wheel stuff on there, because everybody keeps asking too about a quad track. And
Sure.
I don't want the quads to ruin the ruts on the dirt bike track. I think every dirt bike rider knows that. But yeah,
How big is this property? How many acres is it?
160.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of room to do a lot of stuff.
We do.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And you guys have got some bathrooms out there now.
Yep.
And tell me about I know you have like a lot of dreams for, like families and stuff. You had told us like you wanted a grassy picnic area and stuff like that. And
So the grass was planted last year, was it?
Yeah, last
year. Hasn't taken off like I was hoping. We wanted the heck out of it, but it hasn't. The rabbits and the deer keep eating it. So
it's not bad though. It'll get better once we just add more seeding to it and fix it. But
the trees that were planted out there, the deer get those too?
They got that. As a matter of fact, my neighbor's cows got out one time and it really destroyed the trees, and I had to chase them back. And anyway, that's another story. But the grass area is getting there. Sprinklers are in, water's working great and everything else now. The roof I still need to do. I think how the containers are set up in like a U shape, and then we're going to have a covered area where you can do sign-ups or barbecues or whatever, and shade and so on. That's kind of the goal this year, is to get that done so that we can have more events. I have had some church events out there.
Have you?
Yeah. I think you've seen the cross probably,
Mm-hmm.
and that was for a church event. I put that in just for the church that came out. Had a great time. Bonfires at night with kids and family and things like that. We're going to do more of that kind of stuff.
What could you guys use from individuals or the community at large? Like how would be best for, help to come your way? What would you recommend?
Boy, that's a tough one, because I know at some point in time I'm going to need some labor to get the roof up. I've got to order the trusses and I just need bodies at that point. But
and I mean even just to support the track at large, like with the county and like what.
The big one is put pressure on the county people. Write letters, writing letters about how. For example, the challenges that you've had getting into the road, writing letters about how it's a free resource. We're not charging anybody.
That's and I know you put that out a while back that you were asking for letters, and I know we wrote one.
Right. And there's a bunch of people that have responded.
Did you get pretty good turnout for that?
We did. Those are all things that I can present to the courts and say, look, we're not here to cause problems. We're here to support the community, and those letters are super beneficial for the courts to see.
Well, and for all the people that are going to be watching this, do you want to put that out, face to face with the community? Like, I'm sure not everybody wrote letters. Do you want to describe what you need?
Sure.
For that?
So the most important thing is make sure that your name, address, and phone number are on the letters and that you sign them. Those are the three things that the courts recognize. You're not going to be called as a witness or anything like that, but in case they need to verify that these letters are legit, name, address, phone number, and sign it. Those letters should include how much fun you have out there, how much time you spend out there, the access problems, how difficult it is to travel Jackrabbit Ridge Road. I would also recommend putting something in there about how much you're charged. You know that we don't charge anything, yet the other party is claiming that we're running a business. That's a big one. So that just popped up just a few months ago.
Interesting.
And this is some of the FUD that we've been dealing with. The big one also is get involved just get involved, come out to the track. If you want to help get rocks off the track or whatever, just come on out and have a good time and enjoy the place. That's probably the biggest thing, is just coming out to the track on a regular basis, enjoying the place, having good family time out there. And yeah, that goes a long ways, because all those sheets, the release of liability, we're going to turn those all into the courts. Say, look, there's people out here all the time, so make sure you sign the release of liabilities too.
And you have a place where you keep those. Do you want to tell everybody where the waiver is, where you store the waiver?
So right now it's currently a red mailbox on the shop wall outside. There's a clipboard inside. You can just sign it and put the clipboard back inside. By the way, there's air and such out there, so if you need flat tires, it's right next to the air chuck. So if you need to air up a tire or something like that, you don't need to worry about your own air. At some point in time, there's going to be a bike wash area down by where the well is.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to put in a pressure sprayer and a bike wash area, so that you don't have to carry the dirt back home in your trailer and so on. But yeah, right next to the shop is a red mailbox. Just look for that. You'll see it.
And all this, like the letter and the description for what you need, that's all on your Facebook page. What's your Facebook page?
It's just Paroworx Offroad Park, and it's the Facebook group. Like we had the page too that we made before the group, but it just seems like that the group works better to keep people more like in the loop, So yeah, if you want to find out more information about the track or any of these details about the letter Daryl's, talking about to help them with their court cases, make sure you go to their Facebook page and you can look on there. You can interact with these guys. They are really good about interacting. People are asking all the time, "Are you open? What are your hours?" You guys are really good about getting back and commenting and stuff like that and keeping people in the loop.
Well, Bryce is not so much.
I don't know. I try to, like, I just feel like my Facebook comments, I feel like can come off as kind of like misconstrued and kind of aggressive, but
you think?
I just like, I get the same questions over and over and over and over again. And so many of it is already answered on the Facebook page. But on top of that, like I'm just so passionate about doing this that, I feel like anyone saying these things, like just doesn't really know me either, so because everyone that knows me personally, like just knows I'm really passionate about just trying to make a dirt bike track, and
I'll back that up. I mean, we've been associated with you guys since I think it was 2020. I think when we first came out there, something like that. Time. And heard the stories about the fights that you're going through, and with the county and the rancher, and all the work you're putting in for absolutely, out of your pocket. I'm sure the graders and the loader and stuff, I'm sure that stuff is not cheap to fill up. How much money does it cost to fill up one of those pieces of equipment? Do you have a dollar amount?
How much is the loader?
Yeah, just to run the loader for one day is about 60 gallons of diesel fuel. So that's what, $150,
right?
Just to run that for one day.
Yeah, and that's not including maintenance.
Maybe closer to 200.
Like not including oil changes, tires. I mean, grease. The thing takes so much grease alone that
I bet those tires are stupid expensive.
Yeah.
What are they, like $1,000 for one of the big tires?
I haven't bought one of those ones yet, but I can tell you that I change out probably between the water truck and the other equipment. I probably change out 20 tires a year.
Ooh.
And they're $400 ish.
My word.
Yeah.
Depending on what it's for, yeah. Like the grader ones were probably about $1,000.
I think so.
Yeah.
My wife, she's funny. We, when we go to Mosquito Max or any other motocross track, most motocross tracks will charge per rider per day, right?
Right.
I think Mesquite's one of the more reasonable ones. I think they're $35 per rider.
Yeah.
And I think that's gone up in the last couple of years. I think it used to be like 25 or something. And my wife is, she's the penny pincher of the family. And so when we go, somewhere like that, she's like, it's so expensive. And I'm like, I'm always telling her, like, you have no idea how much money just watering the track and fueling up the equipment and let alone any staff or anything like that. They try to hire flaggers or anything. Like, it's expensive. And I've heard it said many times, nobody makes money running a motocross track, right? It's got to be a passion project.
That's right.
Right from the start, right?
Well, it's interesting that you bring up the water thing. That's a good point, right? For many years, we had to run without water.
Yeah.
So think about just what it takes to get water on the track. One drop of water. What do you need? You need a well. You need water rights. Water rights are $20,000-ish for a acre foot of water. The well is $50,000-$60,000.
Oh my gosh.
Now you got to get power to run that well, right? Power out there is miles away.
Yeah, you're way out there.
Everything's solar. So think about the solar system I had to put in just to get power to run that well, right? It just keeps adding up. And then you still got a water truck you got to buy. And then you still got a water truck you got to fix.
Right.
And then you still got, the piping,
all the trenching. Yeah. All the trenching for all the pipes.
There's 550 feet of trenching that between where the well is and the shop. You had to run power down there, the wire. It just starts, you look at it and you go, just to get one drop of water on the track. That's crazy. But we're there.
And I'll stress again, these guys have never charged us a thing. I mean, it is out of the goodness of their heart, 100%, all this stuff they're talking about. And it's unbelievable. And I really hope that you guys can start getting some support from the county.
But when I first rode that, I'm like, they're doing pretty good for just starting out. And
that's why we do it. That's right there. It's for the kids. Period. Not the adults. Although he might think so, but that's the reason why.
I mean, we need to make some of the fast guys happy too. If you can't make the fast guys and the kids happy, I feel like. But yeah, of course, the kids are the foundation of the sport. So
I was bummed Metzger didn't come right out there that one day.
I know he almost did that one day. I was hoping, but maybe eventually soon. I got his number. I got his number, so maybe next time I see him in Utah, I'll just text him or see if he'll come out. That'd be cool.
It's funny because I know Brad Lackey. I got to look him up again, but
Brad Lackey's a legend. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was a member of one of the clubs that I was involved in Northern California.
500 national champ too back in the day. Yeah.
So I got to look him up and see if I've got his number somewhere and invite him out because he's actually a really good guy too.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest name you guys have had out there so far?
I mean, we had that guy, Cade Walker, the Baja racer that got hurt a couple years ago.
I don't know him. I'm not familiar with him.
Okay, we had him out in the SLR Honda team. Other than that, though, I don't really think we've had anybody very big out. But yeah, just some of the off road guys, which was cool.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Zitterkoff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Back in the day, he was Hey,
he's no slouch.
No. Back in the day, he was fast. Yeah.
I've raced against Zitterkoff quite a few times.
Yeah. Well, as far as modern day pros, nobody yet, but maybe hopefully soon. It'd be cool to see maybe Jason Anderson or someone come right out there. That'd be cool.
Be cool. Yeah.
Or the Deegans. The Deegans would be really cool.
I don't know. They strike me as high maintenance.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. I love the Deegans. So I'd park next to them at Milestone quite often, and everyone thinks that they're just these rude people, but they're honestly really nice people.
Yeah,
I mean, they have the whole persona, the metal militia deal. I get it, but they're actually very nice people.
Yeah, it's interesting to see all the comments and stuff. I personally, I bought a Metal Militia shirt from Brian once at it was down in what's that really crappy town in Southern California?
Oh, there's a lot of crappy towns.
The crime central.
San Bernardino.
San Bernardino. It was Metal Fest. I think it was 2009, a Metal Fest down there. And so, we had two main stages with all this heavy metal going on, but you had Metal Militia there and they were doing stunts, and then you had their little booth and they were selling stuff. And this is before Logan came along, so I wasn't into all that. I didn't, but it was cool watching the dirt bikes, and I decided I was going to buy a shirt and a hat, and it ended up being Brian Deegan. He was the one selling it, and he wasn't terribly friendly, I guess. But hey, I'm not either. I'm kind of reclusive, and so I certainly won't hold that against anybody. But it's interesting, since Hayden's been racing pro, to watch all the comments. I find him to be the most entertaining rider in the sport currently.
100%.
For more than one reason. I mean, he is aggressive.
Yep.
He pushes the envelope. I've seen him pull off stuff that is like, how did he keep that on two wheels? And all the drama that he kind of stirs up and all the smack talk.
It's fun.
To me, it's like, it's interesting, and it's driving some interest to the sport. I don't think anybody wants the suit and tie kind of, I love the metal militia kind of edge that he brings to it. I don't know nothing about him personally. Maybe he's a butthole. I don't know, but he's the most interesting to watch. Like Jet Lawrence.
Yeah. Really
incredible rider.
Yeah.
Boring to watch.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's so far out in head and he's so smooth. It's boring.
Mm-hmm.
Hayden,
amazing riding style, but like, yeah, I get so bored of seeing Jet win, and I feel like he doesn't appreciate like his fans or the American fans as much. I feel like he thinks that the American fans are kind of out to get him, but it's just what happens when you're the guy that's winning everything. Nobody's gonna want you to win anymore.
Right.
So it reminds me of Bradshaw back in the day. You don't know who Bradshaw is, but he was a very aggressive rider as well. Riding Supercross with
Matasevich,
Matasevich,
yeah,
and Ward and all those guys. So, but Bradshaw especially was just super aggressive. But
when I was at Paris in 2020, just on a public ride day, and Bradshaw and Matasevich just happened to be there that day, riding like completely separately, and they still hated each other. They were slamming into each other the entire time. And then I think it was Matasevich on the big table. No, it might have been Bradshaw that crashed. Well, one of them crashed, like landed in the soft spot off the big, like 110-foot tabletop there, broke both of his wrists. And they're like 60 years old, and they're still just like on 450s, just wide open, slamming into each other. It's so funny.
A couple of talented guys.
Yeah, the energy that the Deegan brings. I mean, what would the sport have been without like crusty demons, right? Yeah. And he brings that energy back, right? And I remember hearing back in the day, the Japanese factories didn't want them out there presenting that kind of image. They did want them very prim and proper, and here they are out giving the middle finger to the whole community and doing these stunts and just kind of, I like it. I think it's interesting, right?
Well, some of them got banned for life, right? But it's not all that. These guys are professionals, and they have an image, and they have a lot of kids that look up to them. So even though they can have their own personality and their own charisma without being knuckleheads. Yeah. Right. The sport kind of grew up as being knuckleheads. But today I see it as something.
It's very clean cut today.
It is, yeah.
It's more classy than it used to be.
Yeah.
I would say.
Which I think there's pros and cons. I think there needs to be a little bit of that balance still. Like, like you don't make it super trashy, but then you don't make it like boring like golf either,
Right. Now, Daryl, you have some, pretty strong credentials in racing and a background in it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, sure. So I grew up racing mostly CMC in Southern California. All the major tracks, Carlsbad, Glen Helen, Chrono, Saddleback. This was the original Saddleback. LACR. Trying to think of other races, but anyway, as I transitioned from motocross over to I kind of gave it up. We talked about this a little bit earlier, where I was done. I was just ready to get off the bike and worn out. I remember being at Glen Helen one day and saying, I don't want to do this again. I was just tired of being on the bike, and it becomes very monotonous. The whole routine of training and keeping your body in fit and fixing the bike, and every waking moment. I wasn't married at the time, but every waking moment is all about the race on the weekend in some respect. And I remember just saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I was just not having fun. And so I gave it a hiatus. and then moved to Northern California. Got involved with a club up there called the Redneck Roosters for a short period of time. Did some races at Carnegie and Sand Hill and some of the other, trying to think of the one south of San Jose, Hollister Hills, and some of the other tracks. Anyway, had a great time again. All of a sudden, the spark, the passion, the fun was back into it, and it wasn't motocross. It was just a bunch of clubs putting on races. Well, then I moved back to Southern California and got involved in another club called Desert Vipers. They were the club that actually put on the Adelanto Grand Prix, the original Adelanto Grand Prix before it.
SoCal MC took it over later. Yeah,
SoCal MC and District, I think, even had it for a while, didn't they?
It was just under SoCal MC, like District 37 Club, and it was still Big Six then, I believe, too. And then like I don't remember specifically when, but they switched it over to NGPC from the Big Six series.
Gotcha. So the Big Six series was just starting out when I came back to Southern California, and it was kind of a way to get the desert racers more involved with motocross, and that's what the GP series was all about. And anyway, we kicked off the Big Six GP. Desert Vipers were one of the clubs in that. Adelanto was the biggest race. We had, I think, my second year that I was referee, we had around 40,000 spectators and I think around 3,000 entries. We also had a pro race. That pro race paid somewhere around $17,000, $18,000 every year. So it was pretty significant, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of politics, like every other organization. And I finally just said, I'm done with this. And he had already come around and of course you heard my whole story at Glen Helen going down and breaking, not quite breaking my back, but coming close.
Right.
And anyway, that's it was time to just put the racing aside and move forward.
Focus on family. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's part of my old racing career.
That's awesome.
Stuff I don't remember.
Well, and like you were like the referee for like the race and everything too, like really involved with Desert Vipers.
Yeah.
And disqualified Ty Davis even.
That's another story. We won't go down that route.
Ty Davis was cheating. He deserved it.
So anyway, we were actually the old days. You used to actually have lap sheets, and you would write down as the rider came through the chute, who the rider was, the rider number, and so on. Well, that race became so big that it was almost impossible to do it manually like that with lap sheets. We on the back stretch, we had a couple of checkpoints, and you had to correlate all those lap sheets together, and 13 races throughout the entire weekend. It was just a lot of work. Mm-hmm. So I wrote all the software. Well, it was the very first year that we put barcode scanners on the side of their helmet.
Oh, okay.
So each rider got a little label about yay big with the number,
right,
as well as the race that they were in, and then the barcode. And they would, at the finish line, come through the chute, and actually my software would scan their barcode, and they'd take off. Anyway, the Big Six GP series used that same system for a number of years until finally the RFID tag versions came out. At least I think so. I don't remember exactly when they changed over, but that very first year, that was all my energy that I had put into the scoring. And part of it is we could get the results out within about 15 minutes after the race, which nobody had ever done before in a district 37 race. And it was phenomenal. So that's one of my claims to fame. It's all that software.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Well, then even Works stole it too. I think in like 2003 or whenever Works started, they stole it too, and they were using it.
I don't know. I never kept up with it, but it was fun. It was fun times.
Cool.
Whereabouts in California did you come from?
Well, I lived in Northern California and Southern California. We actually grew up in Anaheim.
Right, like 5 minutes away from Angel Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Right there.
Yeah. So I grew up in the city of Orange. So I raced a lot at Saddleback Park back when it was big. Corona Raceway, Glen Helen, Carlsbad,
Deanza
Cycle Park. Trying to think of some.
And this was motocross, you were saying,
yeah,
right?
this was mostly CMC.
Gotcha.
And then once he came along, I kind of had to give that up. That's a whole story by itself.
Well, the story of when like right before I was born with the broken ribs and stuff, that was pretty funny. That would probably be a funny story to tell.
So I decided to get back into racing, and my ex-wife was not thrilled about it, but it's like, okay, I get it. You need a break. And this is, before he was born, and she's like,
she was pregnant with me.
Yeah, she's like 7 months pregnant.
Yeah.
and I'm racing, and I'm doing really good. I'm chasing points and so on. And I was out at Glen Helen on a Grand Prix, and a Grand Prix is you have a number of races during the weekend, right? I think we were running about 12 different races during the weekend, and I was running the unclassified, and then the I forget what other class I was in, and then there was another class. So I had 3 races that weekend, and you kind of have to go to the Grand Prix because they were paying both desert points as well as Grand Prix points at that point. So if you were a desert racer and you wanted to get a lot of points, you had to hit the six Grand Prix every year. And anyway, chasing points. And in the very first race was the unclassified race, and they kind of ran you through the motocross section up into the hills behind the track. Matter of fact, you drop down in the pavilion where we were talking about earlier. That's their pavement areas, right where the pavilion is. Come down into a wash and back into the motocross section. Well, anyway, third or four laps into my unclassified race, I can see the leaders in front of me. It's like, I know these guys, and I know I can catch them. So I got it pinned in the riverbed area, and all of a sudden, lights out. I wake up with the ambulance driver over me screaming at me saying, don't move. And, as I'm starting to come to and so on, I look over at my bike, and the whole front wheel is bashed in. And the only thing I can think of is I got to go get that front wheel fixed, and I got a spare wheel in the trailer. So it's no big deal. I just need to get back to the trailer and get this wheel on there, and I can get to my next race. And he's screaming at me, and I still have my helmet on. And, as you're laying there, you kind of come to a little bit more and more, and you start to wiggle your fingers. It's like, okay, my back's hurting like mad, and I obviously broke some ribs over here, but my fingers are okay, and my toes are okay, and my head's okay, and I can race another race. So I pull off the helmet, and the ambulance guy's screaming at me again, don't do that. It's like, shut up. So finally, after a few more minutes, I look over, and the ambulance is stuck in the sand. And they got 3 guys trying to dig it out. And the last guy's overtopped me, yelling at me some more. And finally, I just said, you know what? Leave me alone. I'm going to get going. And I stand up, and he's still screaming at me. And I fire up the bike, and I just kind of lump it back to camp with the front wheel all bashed in, just walking it back to camp. And I get back to camp. There's the wheel. It's sitting in the trailer. And I had a enclosed trailer at the time with a hammock. And I thought, well, I got 2 hours. It's only going to take 20 minutes to change this wheel out. I'm going to sit down and relax for a little bit in the hammock, and because my back is really bothering me. And as I'm sitting there, as I'm laying down in the hammock, I'm getting more and more stiff, and my body is really starting to hurt. And so I talked to my buddies, and I said, I can't ride. Will you load my bike up for me? And I said, yeah, sure. So they loaded the bike up, and I come home, and remember, my ex-wife is expecting me to be gone both Saturday and Sunday for this GP, and I'm home by noon on Saturday, and she goes, why are you home early? Well, I kind of got off, the bike a little bit hard, and it's like, okay, and I'm hurting, but I'm okay, nothing major. And she, like Bryce was saying, she's 7 months pregnant with him, and so the whole rest of the day I spent in the lazy boy, and then went to bed that night. And about 2:00 in the morning, I was in so much pain I couldn't deal with it anymore. And she woke up, and she goes, well, you want me to take you to the emergency room? And it's like, yeah. So head off to the emergency room. And of course, they take X-rays. And this was back when they had film. You don't get them immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So you take X-rays and they put them on a piece of film, and then they get developed and all this kind of stuff. And when the doctor first saw me, he goes, "How'd you do this?" And I said, "Oh, I was racing a motorcycle and I got off really hard." And he's kind of shaking his head. It's like, okay, whatever. After the X-rays, he comes back in a couple hours later with this package of X-rays underneath his arm, and he's just shaking his head again. And again, my wife's sitting there, 7 months pregnant with him in the waiting room, or not in the waiting room, but in the examination room. And he goes, "You're not going to listen to me, are you?" I go, "What do you mean? You're still going to get on that stupid dirt bike, aren't you?" "Yeah." And pulls out this envelope of film and throws it up on the light table. And he goes, "Look, this is how close you came to breaking your back and being paralyzed for life." And of course, he did this right in front of my ex-wife.
Bad idea. Yeah.
And and just continued to read me the riot act. Well, then, of course, on the ride home and that night, I got read the riot act by my ex-wife. "You're going to give this up and not go racing anymore. You told me you weren't going to get hurt," and all this other stuff. And it just blew up from there, so that was the end of my racing career. It ended that night. And then he was born, and
and then I hit my head a lot of times too. So I kind of kept it going.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the end of my racing career. And I was about 32 at the time, I think. Something like that. And, oh, well. So then I play ride from that point on. And I actually got very involved with doing tours down in Mexico and throughout southern Utah. We were doing big group tours. Okay. That's how I found out about Bar 10 Ranch.
Okay.
We did a number of tours to Bar 10. Yeah, great place, by the way. So I would highly recommend, if you've never been to Bar 10, at least go do a trail ride to Bar 10 and enjoy the place.
Right on the rim of the Grand Canyon too. It's insane.
Yep.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Do you just like walk over and see the Grand Canyon if you go a little ways?
No, you actually have to ride to it. So the facility of Bar 10, they have beds for you, and they make meals for you and so on. And there's a lot of riding in that area. You can go over to Toro Weep and look into the Grand Canyon. But the closest place is just past the airport. There's a little turnoff where you can actually get to the Grand Canyon. It's maybe a 15-minute ride from Bar 10 Ranch. So, but they do it.
Toro Weep's beautiful area. Yeah.
Yeah. They do a great job. They do a really fantastic job. And they cater to the off-road community as well as the river rafters.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So what year did you guys make the move to Utah, and what sparked that?
2017.
Yeah. Just needed out of California. I had gotten remarried. We needed a fresh start. I was in a position at work to basically move wherever I wanted to. I didn't have to be close to my customers anymore or to an office. So that's another long story how we found Utah. But I had spent a lot of time in this area as a kid. Again, with my dad, we used to go up to Salt Lake City and go skiing a lot with my sister and so on. So spent tons of time at Alta and Snowbird and all the resorts, and had driven through here hundreds of times. So when my ex-wife and I decided to go to the SEMA show one year in Las Vegas. I had some customers and so on that were going to it. I kind of wanted to go, and I'd never been. So we decided to get to
Wait, you said ex-wife. That wasn't.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you might want to cut that out. That part.
Current wife, Lee.
We could cut that part out.
Yeah. So we had just gotten remarried, or we had just gotten married, and we're looking for a fresh start. Decided to go to the SEMA show, and then took a couple of days off to go up to southern Utah and kind of check it out. We found the house, and all of a sudden we had a house overnight, and it took us about a year to move from that point on because my work, and I had 2 other houses I was trying to sell. So,
and we had a lot of crap.
Yeah, we had a lot of crap. He had a lot of crap. Okay, I had a lot of crap too.
I was gonna say.
And you guys live in Cedar City, right? But so how did you find out, or how did you acquire the property out in Paroworx?
Yeah, so once we bought the house and we actually moved here, we're just looking around for property. We looked out in the Burl area.
Yeah, Burl. Yeah.
There was a bunch of parcels out there that were within the right price range, and just couldn't get. Nothing felt right. And then a buddy of mine told me about this parcel up for sale. And anyway, it's like, this is perfect.
Yeah, the perfect spot.
Yeah,
It really is. Yeah.
yeah. So that's how it happened.
Nice.
We made an offer. They ignored us for a couple of days. I made a higher offer, and then the real estate agent finally said, "This should do it. This higher offer should get them off their butts," and they accepted it. We moved on.
And did you buy it with the intention of starting this motocross track?
For the most part, a place to.
I mean, like more kind of privately at first,
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, the intention was to always have land for a track. Yeah,
Nice.
But as I said earlier, it was kind of the case of it started out as a hobby, just a private track for us. Kids wanted a motocross track, and anyway, I said, well, fine. If we're going to do this, why don't we open it up to the community and at least make it legal and so on. So that's why we went to the conditional use permit route and so on, making it legal and so that everybody can enjoy it.
So Southern Utah, he's got such a long name. Sorry, Ken, if I get this wrong. Southern Utah Ghost Riders Youth MX.
Yes.
I always get it wrong. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah.
they're actually going to hold a race out at your facility in May. Is that correct?
I believe that's the case. I haven't talked to Ken lately, but I think that's still his plan. Matter of fact, he was just texting me earlier today. I was curious if you guys were going to do the race at Mesquite, the Gypsy 500.
He's actually got some people from the Carbon Emery series that we did this past summer that have reached out to him and asked him to be involved with that. So
Okay.
I think, did you commit to that?
Commit to, yeah, I wanna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's what his plan is.
Okay.
Because, like, I've done the desert race out there. It's actually really fun, and it actually looks like they've changed the track since I've done that last desert race. So I just want to try it again because I did like going out in the trees behind Mesquite. It was kind of cool to just see all that different scenery.
Yeah.
Those silt whoops are hard.
Yeah.
I've crashed so many times.
And the downhills,
Oh.
some of those downhills they cut for that stuff is so soft and sketchy. Yeah.
That's like the one part I was thinking about. I'm like, if I do that, they might make me go down that really bad rocky hill.
I'll never forget that it was probably 2022. There was I think it was a works race, and we've never been big time desert racers or GP racers, but we've done a few, and we usually try to do the works race down there when they would come down. But, they start much differently than moto. They just kind of line everybody up in stages and then just start sending them in packs, right?
Right.
And I remember Logan was up there and they start sending people, and I had lost track. I couldn't keep track. There were so many people and so much dust. I was like, he was lost to me. But, they have that big hill.
Yeah.
And then they will do that step up jump right at the top of that hill. Somebody didn't make that step up right, and there were probably 20 or 30 riders that went down right at the tippy top of that hill.
So they're all going up and landing
Just
basically on each other?
No, they weren't jumping. Like somebody didn't make the jump, and so they just started crashing into each other like right at the top, and there was just this big
I remember that. I was right behind that. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'm standing down there going, my poor kid, I mean, he would have been like
I was stuck on the hill. I was just like braking with both brakes.
he would have been 9 or 10 at the time, and on an 85, maybe on a 65, I can't remember, but
85.
somewhere in this pack, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And people are starting to like roll down backwards and topple over, and I'm like, oh my heck, but somehow he had made it through it. So but yeah, that was sketchy.
Yeah, and then I had one of my friends crash down that one hill and break his collarbone.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to desert racing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, is there anybody you would like to thank or parting thoughts before we close the show out?
Mostly just the people in the industry. I've had an incredible history with a lot of these people. They've been great people, especially the people at Suzuki that used to support me, even though I wasn't a factory rider. They were always giving me parts and helping me out when I needed to, and so on. Early on in my career, they were phenomenal. Also, the clubs. Every club that puts on an off-road event is huge. Don't discount them. It doesn't matter how small or how big they are. It could be a big club like the Atlanta Grand Prix or a race like the Atlanta Grand Prix, or it could be a small race in your local community. These people are doing it because they love the sport. Thank them. Just figure out a way to get involved and thank the people that are around you that are putting on these events, because it's not trivial. So, yeah.
I really see that with like Bushwhackers, MC, and POH. Like, they're not a very big club, but they probably mark the course better than any district race, like District 37 race or national I've ever raced. And I don't know, they're just not a big group of people, but like those people are really in it for like the right reason, which is cool.
The other message I'd like to tell the clubs is work together. Don't fight. Yeah. It's like churches. Churches fight back and forth, and the clubs don't have to. You're all great clubs. It doesn't matter how big or how small you are. That's one of the things that turned me off out of District 37 is just the constant battling, the constant arguing. Figure out how to work together. It's not worth it. We're losing lands all the time, and we're much stronger together than we are separate.
Okay.
Well, and I think too, the biggest thing too, like as far as thanking people, is definitely like the locals that do come out and have supported the track, and like I feel like I kind of said, a lot of people kind of get the wrong idea about us but like the people that have supported us and have actually gotten to know us, and they realize that the rumors aren't true, so
right.
But yeah.
Well, some of them aren't true.
Well, some maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So the track right now is officially closed, but you're working toward opening sometime in the next couple of months, probably once you get the track finished.
Yeah, open for like just free ride days. Sometime spring. I still have a decent amount to finish on the main track, but I'm almost there. And then I just got to wrap things up on the vet track, clean up the kids track, just make everything look really good. I think we're going to just put up like some signs and stuff like that too. And, but I think one of the biggest things too, is we're going to need people to help volunteer for flaggers.
Yes.
Come springtime. Yeah. Anytime, seriously. Cause the jumps are a lot bigger now. Before it was kind of like almost an off-road track, but right. At this point we're going to need flaggers. We're going to need people involved in helping out for sure.
And the other thing that's holding us back from opening up is water. We can't open up until we're not freezing every night anymore. Yeah. So that's the big challenge is I can't water the track, or I can't help him move dirt or all because we don't have water to keep the dust down and to properly pack the dirt.
Makes sense.
So, that's a challenge. So once the weather turns and we have, not today was a beautiful day, but we're getting down to still below freezing at night, and I can't turn the water back on until that problem is, until the weather is right.
Makes sense. Well, make sure that, all of you out there, check out Paroworx Offroad Park group on Facebook for more information about the track. If you have any questions for either of these guys, put them on there. Stay tuned for news about when they're opening and things like that. And make sure you come out and get involved. Make sure you come out and support them. These guys are doing it like we've been discussing this whole last hour. Just really, it's a passion project out of the goodness of their hearts. Really zero help from anybody, including the county. And I hope the county really takes a good hard look at that and straightens that out, because that's garbage in my opinion. These kids need a place to ride. Speaking as a parent of a youth racer, it would be incredible to have a track in our backyard here. And that's one of the things that I wrote in your letter that we gave to you guys is, through Logan's entire motocross career, we've had to travel to whatever track was open, pretty much whatever RMX had open. So, Mesquite and then to Delta and then to Idaho. And we would drive to Idaho every weekend during the summer. We would drive to Cache Valley or Rupert every weekend to be at a track because there's not one locally here. And
so nice.
I think that that's just garbage. So I really hope that the county and will straighten it out and people will come out and support and help you guys, realize this vision you have.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And I think I speak for the community at large. So, all right, guys. Well, we appreciate you again making time to come in and sit in the studio with us and tell us all about it. And we appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks.
You bet.
Well, that's the end of this episode on the Holeshot Hustle, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Take care.
Take care.